Hi, and good morning. Welcome. So I want to get this started really quickly because I was listening to something and I thought, well, we need to do that. We need to stop. People need to know this. And rather than me explaining, I'm going to play you, and I'll put the links when I upload this. I will put the links firstly to the website for the lady that this originates from. Secondly, to the video, the person that's uploaded the video in the comments below. I am not an affiliate, but I resonate with the message, and I think the teachings that are coming through and being released now, kind of, even though these are things that were happening and referring to stuff for people that needed it prior to stuff happening. So back in 2000, sorry, I'm going back 25 years. But what I do see happening now is the ascension itself, that we have access to this information. For some of us that are pulling in this high frequency, it's really good to know how to clear the systems, how to connect. Now, my guidance has been coming through and telling me this for the last 2 years, although I didn't know what it was specifically called. This lady gives a name to the stuff I've been doing and being told from my own guidance. I'm shown images with colors and stuff, and not the detail, the science of what it is that I'm doing, but the why has been very, very clear lately, that your body, if everything ran through you really quickly, you would not be able, you couldn't handle it, because it's only run on the free, I can't even remember what they're called, but these free kind of energy levels access for thousands of years. But our body is made to do this. So we don't need to be fearful of this, but what is happening and what happens when we have these high frequency downloads for those that are receiving, or when the collective is having that, and that's rippling through, and we're all open to receiving all of this. These shifts are physical, they're very physical now, and that's stepped up now, and that's not going to change. If anything, it's going to get quicker. So I feel this is why I'm being guided to share this information, and why I'm being shown this information also for personal reasons, because then I feel it. I'm like, oh, I can feel that, so I can process through the fog. So the fog happens because the crap information in our body we don't need, in our minds that we don't need, all of those stories, those thought forms can go. They're irrelevant, and all, if anything, they are keeping us stuck. Now, things have been lifted energetically, collectively. So although all those modalities people are working through for years, because that's the only way you could get rid of them. Now you don't need to. You don't need to do all of that. I'm sorry if that upsets people. You don't. But it helps with your own understanding and your own journey. And it's, so don't stop doing what you're doing. Do what works for you. That is a little caveat. But allowing us to run through high currents, to allow the energy, and that will work on what referred to as our junk. DNA is not junk at all, but so we can open up to all of these different aspects. Now, this is important. Why? Because if you're feeling any distortion in the body, the reason being is because it's trying to do it naturally. Your inner being is trying to open you up to that. You'll get guidance with that, but it gets stuck. It gets stuck possibly from blocks, from shields, from things, from past karmic energy shifts within the fields in the now moment. And when I'm referring to that, I'm talking about when people say past lives are all simultaneously happening. They are a frequency that you tune into by resonance of what you need to know. It's a bit like puzzle key of your soul, and it's going, right, well, you need to know about this. So we're going to like activate that elbow, because that relates to that life that's happening right back then. And then you can see, if you do that work, you can clear it. The reason you can clear it is because it's happening now, past, present, future. Now is your point of power shifting, always. So this relates to the clearing of energy works, but also the clearing of our paths, our thought form. Think about it on a less esoteric. It is very scientific, though, I have to say, even if science does not, even back then they certainly didn't have, but I'd say now more than ever that the probably have the science that would back up what is being talked about within the fields. And I am a bit of a science geek looking for that information, because I feel like, well, sources told me this, I know it's possible. Like, come on, hurry up, let's get some stuff to show the other people, that the ones that need to see the physical. So yeah, and that does happen. It's a bit like knowing that the celery sorts in the cluster sorts in celery that medical medium refers to from Spirit of Compassion. I know it works. I've discerned from my own guidance that yes, this is going to help, but science doesn't even know it exists, and they're not even looking for it. So they don't want to know, perhaps, because that would mean we wouldn't need a lot of other stuff that brings in a lot of money. Anyway, that's another story, and that's a personal thing, my own personal perception. So, well, let's listen to this. I'm gonna play this in the background. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this. I will, as I say, cite where I put this from, and I'll put this up, this video. If you're seeing this on YouTube, I've probably put it unlisted. I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see, because I do feel this is important for people to know, and I don't want to be cloistening information. I think this is the trouble. Everyone's going, oh, you should do things, but everything I do, I don't get paid for anything. Not that I don't feel I'm worthy, because I do feel I'm very worthy. Abundance comes through other means, but I feel that there's just this 3D thing that with my own blocks. So I need it as much as you. And as like Medical says, not him that does it, it's Spirit of Compassion. It's not me that shares this stuff. It's not me, it's the guidance that comes through from my higher self. That's you as much as it is me. It's from all. So anyway, go back a little bit, because I think this is important in relation to, and bearing in mind this was 25 years ago, but I still think it's relevant now for those that are still waking up and going through the ascension symptoms as to what's happening in your body, to kind of have a little bit of that and understanding, so that when we do our meditations and I adapt, or through the guidance of what I'm being told to do to kind of update stuff, I still think that's very relevant anyway, and that doesn't need updating. But I feel there's other stuff that we have access to now that we don't necessarily need to do everything, but some people will, because it's just going through a process for them. It's allows you to prepare, and your guidance, your soul, your body, i.e. my body, may be ready for to run that frequency, because I've been working for 4 years to get my body to that state. So it's harder on the body if you suddenly go, I'm going to do that. Your body will only give you, or your soul will only allow you to run whatever you're ready for. And that's why I've had to wait to get into a certain thing, and now why I'm having to do other deeper level stuff. And I'm not saying you have to do this. This may not be relevant, but it is certainly easier on us if you know how to. I feel is important to know. Anyway, so this is Ashalana Dean, and this video is the Lemurian and Atlantean logistics disc 1, and the disc she's referring to, or in references, is like the discs to do with our fields and our templates. And when she references these different places, they're energetical places. So hopefully that background will help.
Which one hurts? Because you'll start to find.
Right, she's talking about massaging.
Dyadic works go together.
Let me just quickly explain. So we have the meridian lines, which is like the fields that the acupressure works on. We work with in Qigong. Then you have the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. These other ones that run on a deeper level, and I will look up the name. It's gone from my head straight away. And then you have the little vortex points to work through. She mentions about cranial, and I know that there's modalities out there now. So obviously this is a long time since modalities have been kind of based on her work without realizing it. And craniosacrum works on those, or they've come to the same conclusion from different sources. I'm not saying that they didn't, but it really fits. Anyway, so these little voices she's saying about massaging. So like what we do when we massage Qigong. So this is based on ancient art, which so whenever massaging, so if you get an ache, you naturally do this. You're like, oh, that's something you want to rub that arm, you want to rub that legs. And they run vertically down the body. Hang on. And antidotal and antidotal lines. I'm probably saying that wrong. So yeah. So you just run through, and when you massage these lines. So when we run through, so when I say about pressing and releases, for example, there's this one which is good to do each day. So 3 fingers and then massage, and you massage with the breath in, press and release is one of these points, and then you run up and down. You run down the arms and get it to flow, which is why we slap down and up. It's that circulation. Okay, so just to give you a little bit background.
We do have these levels of our anatomy, and it's just that we've been taught to not look there. We've not been taught anything about them, so you don't know that they're there. You get pain, and we get used to numbing our nervous system, literally shutting parts of it down so we don't feel how bad things really feel. And when you start to let energy run, you start to really feel what you've been blocking. Use the tools of running the vertical massages, just simple, nice firm vertical massages for axiotonal lines, little circular pinpoint massages for the dyadic vortices. These are things that will become survival skills for you as we move into the time period of 2001 into 2017. If the place goes into pole shift, this is something we never talked about. Anybody that knows our work, we didn't start out as one of those doom and gloom people. Oh, it's going to be bullshit. No, we didn't start.
We avoided that, just so you know. Back then, 20 years ago, they were working with the grids. So the grid workers were working to stop. So that didn't happen, which had happened prior in prehistory in one of the cataclysms. And there's geographical evidence, actually, and there's people that talk about this. I'm going to pause this and skip bits, but I thought it was important for you to know about that bit.
0.5 strength. I know it's serious. This is information that was protected and held secret because there's so many humans on the planet right now that would use it. It's still not safe to bring it here. They wouldn't be releasing this if they didn't need to know now. The purpose of DNA activation is 4 years. If it gets bad, you need to have a minimum of a 4.5 strand DNA activation level to be able to go through a portal without spontaneous combustion happening to your body. This is part of the reason why they have stressed helping people to activate more quickly and comfortably and naturally, but why it's important to do it. Evacuations are not what we're focused on. It's still plan A. Let's fix things here. And the advantage of DNA activation is get yourself back. You get your memory back. You remember who you were, why you came here. You get your higher consciousness back.
Which we've been experiencing within esoteric circles. You talk about Matthias Stefano's brilliant example of a rememberer. He is a neuron of our planet, for sure, and there are many other neurons. People that are waking up, they have these memories from the multidimensional aspect. And as I've spoken before, I think more and more children are born with being able to be ready to be multidimensional. And unfortunately, modern medicine sees them as needing to be fixed, but they're not at all. That has shifted. We're working through that, and that's a whole other video.
Now, as we're trying to make ourselves more comfortable in the process, there's one other thing we can do. We're talking about preparing the physical body. We have the running the axiotonal line massage. We have the dyadic massage. There are 2 points that we can massage also that will create a lot of help for the main vertical current to bring more energy in. It's a 2-point massage.
We're going to do the massage. She talks about it, but what she's referring to is what we talk about in class. When I say, when we bring that I call it silver and gold light, because I'm bringing in the 2, and the gold I was definitely, so the silver was done sort of 20 years ago, and the gold was the one that seemed more relevant. The silver was kind of then brought in once the gold was set with me personally, when I was being shown what to do. So I was saying in our meditations, in our movement practice, during the Qigong, and as I was expressing these light languages, it was working with, now I understand the science behind it, these different euphoric grid levels, and it goes right up to the beginning of creation of light and sound, and then they express through light and sound within us. So when we're expressing sound, we are light and sound, by the way. We are kind of flowing that through. And if, as we start to open up to that and allow it to resonate within us, it kind of grows. We're allowed, it's like a, think of it like a channel. And you're running through, but it's like this tunnel, and it needs to kind of expand. We think of it like the birthing canal, of like the birthing of this new earth, if you like, for a metaphor. But as it's expanding, it can run more, and it stretches to actually how it can be. However, if you just went, it would break. That's the same sort of thing. And this light tunnel around you of the light that you're running through the cells, your soul will dictate what you can and cannot do. So I'm being guided to show, I'm told, slowly, bits for those that follow me, what we've already worked through, and as we expand it. And what's brilliant now is that where they had loads of blocks, where they had, and I'm going over my head, I can feel, where they would be like, oh, headache, the bones and the bone structure, teeth. She was saying earlier on that actually even, and like, big thing for me, I've been looking at being my vegan diet, being told about this, and I'll go in separate video again to do with the teeth, and the research I've done because of the teeth. So things show up in our life because it's something we need to know. I needed to know about that, but also teeth first break when highlights coming through and the body's physically not ready. Not break as such, but that's where it's going to show up in the teeth and bones. You're going to feel it, you're going to feel achy. So when we have these portals, and when I say about portals are not astrology, there's a confusion, because I remember someone saying once, oh, like she was an astrologer going, well, this like portal thing, it's nothing to do with astrology. No, but they tend to happen during astronomical alignments because there's like a mathematics. It's like a computer system. The whole universe itself, think of it in terms of computer, it gives you it makes it easier to understand. Certainly for me, I need kind of basic, simplistic understanding. Put it like, well, if the basic telling it to a child, because literally we are, in terms of understanding some of this stuff. And I think it needs to be broken down to simplify it. So that's just a train of thought. So that's why we can't run this high current all of a sudden. You can't just go, right, that's it. That's the misconception. You can be in alignment to the energy of and resonance as it comes starting to unpick, and your understanding starts to resonate with certain energies, quote unquote, being in your vibe, being in alignment. However, when we're talking about doing this physical stuff, and this is the stuff that the masters did, this is the stuff where their energy of their physical cells will translucinate, and they can be seen in 4 different places because they're not at the same energy, running the same energy. They can then go through certain portals, as we say. They are able to materialize, dematerialize. This is stuff that even science would be like, oh my God, that's science fiction. That's nuts. The masters, these legends we hear of these masters and these ancient, they knew how they got to this stage. That's why they could do this. There's a science to it as why. And we will all be able to do that again. We were all capable of doing that because we come from that. We're a blend of that. So as we move forward, and I know I'm pushing the boundaries and we're going way out there, so with expanding the mind, but I'm seeing and hearing and resonating and knowing, yes, there's truth to this. This is the Christic template. This is what the Christed ones, i.e. people that come to the earth, brought this message, like Joshua, or referred to as Jesus. Other ancient or ascended masters, they're ascended masters because they went through this process. They knew how to do this. Now, it may be that we will be able to get to a certain stage where we could do those things. I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight because it wouldn't be right for our body, but we are beginning the process where we go back to a humanity that will be all able to do that. That may take 100 odd years, but as each activate, it's speeding up. And that's why they say, like, what the technology of our body is going to expand organically and allow that. The understanding the communication, the frequency and the energy of everything is going to affect that. Now that's why you see these things about two paths is splitting, because we now are evolving out of to a different species, because we step into that. So I'm aware that that sounds nuts, believe me. But if you want to just think of it of like, well, I'm going to be doing this stuff to help the physical healing of my body, then great. But as you go up the next levels and you start to advance through to the more intermediate, you'll start to see the physical effects. And that as a healer, which most of the people that view me, I'm aware, are healers themselves. They do this stuff themselves. They have their own modalities that they can work into. They can take the information that they've got, which is all these pieces for all these different puzzles, all those puzzles, all those modalities will fit into the science of what he's sharing. And then there's this other stuff that underlies, so that's one story. And then there's the earth itself, which is kind of, we are along for the ride because she's the one that's doing this. The planet itself is expanding back up to where it was meant to be. And we just took a kind of diverted journey, the long road, if you like. But through time and space, it's an instantaneous thing. There's also some stuff that people are saying haven't quite married up with time and space. And that's to do possibly with what they were saying, not everything was fixed, there were certain things. So it's good to be not putting all your eggs in one basket, if you like, although energetically I feel we're there. My guidance from the Black Cat Guardian Order are sort of pulling me through on a thread. I see this gold thread which leads back up that gold and that silver, intertwining to walk that, to be guided to that, because that's what I've chosen as a soul, and to mission is to demonstrate that. So from someone that's very physical, that's like, all right, my teeth are like this, oh God, I wouldn't be able to be, I'm not doing this, but to walk and slowly, oh, I can do it, you can do it. That's the whole thing. If you can see the transformation on me over the years as I go through my process and go with me to come along for the ride, is what I'm saying. If they're going, right, okay, we can do this. We're all on that resonance. We're all wanting to do the same. It's not me though. It's not about me. It's about all of us, because we're all on that journey anyway, the whole planet. Anyway, I'm too much talking. Let's get back to, and then I need to break for lunch.
Sacral seals. One is at the tailbone, and the other is in the pineal gland.
Which is your bubble point that we want to touch. We've been doing this. So
you also networks on the head and the neck up together.
When we beat the drum,
access the main energy circuits that run into the pineal spot. And from this, and you can simply massage them for a while.
We've been doing in our practice. That's why we've been prepared
specific points in the body
to run more cover.
That energy will travel down, just like the information travels down from wires.
And then
It'll travel down the natural energy systems in the body to the place that those systems are connected to. So if you have connection plates, energy pathways between this part of your head and your pineal gland, you rub will send stimulate. This will help the cranial sacral seals to release more easily. We call it the inner arc of the covenant.
I'm going to stop. So I think I just wanted her to explain it. And the other thing that we do, so the base of the spine, so you're just massaging the base. And I realised, it sounds a bit weird, but I kept getting a spot there, and I kept massaging at this point. And then I realised why, because naturally I'd been doing this one, and naturally I'd been doing this one, but because I'm purging all around that area and working on that area, that's why the spot come up. And I was massaging there naturally and thought, oh, it's like my body had tricked me into doing what I needed to do. The other thing that I'd naturally been doing, and we do every day in our daily routine, and this is why we do it, is I get you to take your thumbs, and you can do this with me now. As I said, we're going to do these massages. So in the center of your thumb also links to the pineal. gland. So you press and release and you massage. So this is activating right down into the feet. The other thing you can do is the bottom, the soles of the feet, is to making sure they're nice and open. This is to do with the different fit, like the electric. It's not actually a magnetic field anymore. This is why the shift of, like, scientists go like, oh, because it's all changing, isn't it, on the earth? It's changing because it's meant to change, because it was never meant to be like that. Now it's going to the way it's meant to be. We need to be aligned to the way it's meant to be. So all the chakra systems from the ancient arts, they were set on that. So they should actually start to work in a different way. We'll be able to activate all 15 layers, not just the 7 that most people know. So that's why I realized I was like, I don't know, why did I pick this? I liked the Qigong because the energy, and it felt right. And then when I first started training, I realized there was so much to learn. But there was a reason, because it gives me a basic understanding of what I needed to know, of what I was being shown to do in other ways. And it allows us to open and practice with energy and start to have an understanding. The same with the Reiki. And when you merge all the modalities, you start to realize that there's similarities in whether they're called different names. So let's just start by putting your hand on your heart. So this is a little practice. All of that talk was to understand why we're doing what we're doing. So closing the eyes, breathing in through the nose, and out. Into a cleansing breath, but stop and come to the head. Bubble wiping liquid, and just massage. And as you do so, I want you to visualize, just as we do daily. So always, whenever you do any meditation, I say, oh, hand on heart. First thing I do is I breathe. Second thing I do is I visualize that star going down, connecting and expanding. So it's this, we're stretching slowly to allow that energy to flow through us, basically preparing incrementations in energy, so that the body in incrementations on the physical is able to handle more and less achy when that happens. So you don't then get tired. You don't feel like you need to. Yesterday they said to me, you're not ready. It's one of the reasons I didn't do the meditation live through the eclipse, was I needed to meditate myself. And I'll talk about it separately, but I literally felt like a dead weight. I felt the high frequency coming in me, and I felt how leadened my body, the density shift between where my physical body is and where the high energy I was feeling and connecting to was. And I couldn't barely move, because I needed to just be and allow and process. So today I feel like completely in a lovely salt bath, and so yeah. So everything I need to do, I've got like, whoa, come on in and charge to do it. But yeah, so heart, breathing, visualize light expanding around you. Close your eyes and do this. I've already done it, and feel it whenever I just touch my heart. Feeling the heart coherence, if it helps, think about the field of the heart and mind coherence, that gland connected with this gland, but we're connecting full body awareness. Take the hands up and massage the top of the head. And as you do so, I want you to feel about, like, the visual I get is a flower opening, like a bud, and it's opening up. So you've got this opening, allowing, and then at the bottom of that bud of the flower, it goes into the body. It's actually the wheel, that wheel of energy, what we call the seventh chakra. This is where it's connected on the physical. And massaging it. Breathing in, breathing out. Take the hands, run your fingers through the dragon, as they say, round, down, around the hips and down to the back. And then you'll have your company secret. Hands sort of like this touching, and then slide down. to the bottom of your back and gently massage right at the bottom of your back spine, the little towel part. Breathe in and feel and visualize roots coming down from there, going down into the ground, into and reaching down to crystals. Now, you are the closest that your body is to a crystal. If you've got a quartz crystal, I've got selenite here. I do have it. It's got lots of quartz. Crystal that can help you pop it near where you're sitting, because it'll help you anchor that light and magnify. And then bring the hands. And just breathe and feel. Now, you might not be able to feel anything. Don't worry if you can't. You might feel like a tingling up the spine, especially if you're used to feeling your Kundalini energy. Just the current, that movement is the current, it's the oscillation, it's that feeling, that tingling that we get. That's the start of it. It's the start of the awareness of it. It runs all the way through the body. Breathe in, breathe out, and feel your heart now doing the same, expanding. This is moving away from the stuff. This is what I'm being shown to do with this, where we are, the heart expanding. So like when we do our chi ball at the heart, we do the chi ball here for purpose, pulsing. It's like stretching our muscles, our vibrating muscles. The same when we do our figure of eight. That figure of eight, you can feel that figure of eight now, feel it going. And the point in the center is the heart. Point in the center is the forehead, the pituitary gland. The point at the bottom is the lower dantian, it's the sacral. Feeling. So you've got essentially 3 flowers. And then diagonally. And behind and in front. So it's helping this vortex of light around. It's picking up, it's opening. Open and receptive to the highest aspect of you. It goes right up to the point of creation. If you want to call it something else, that's down to you. Source. Don't give your power away. You are still the one that's part of that. It's responsible for that. I must not I must not Any yawn, any excess, and shake it, shake the feet, tap the feet. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to go any deeper or any more. You can do that. You can practice that. You can do that over and over again. So thank you for this short little thing that come through. And I will see you for our daily practice. We will be working through this. We're going to be working through this. We're going to be bringing this in. We're going to be adding this in. I'm going to slowly but surely start adding these little things so you can start on that expansion yourself, to help with what essentially we call ascension symptoms nowadays. But it's just allowing yourself to run more frequency, to expand and feel more downloads, just listening to your body. You can do it yourself. So when you feel that pain, we naturally do it. I mean, you get that, like, oh, I need to stretch. So like with the neck pain, you know, the Qigong, my members certainly do know the Qigong, you want to lean, and we do this first thing in the morning as part of the AM practice, and the stretch and down and looking, and with the breath, which is key. The breath is one of the keys for accessing this, because we breathe from a different. That's why we only breathe through the nose, mouth is fruiting. That's why it contradicts some of the breath work techniques. Eating and releasing, if you're doing some releasing of toxins. Anyway, blessings in your day. Thank you. Let me know if you do this, what you feel, what comes up for you. Put it in the comments below. Have you come across this before? Whether it helps with your ascension symptoms. It certainly helped mine today. The moment they're like, this is why, because you need to be massaging here as well, to allow that to ground, to anchor in this high frequency. So thank you for your time. Love and blessings.